अगले 30 सेकंड्स में आप बदल सकते हैं अपने लाइफ का ट्रैक एंड नेवर लुक बैक।
यार छोड़ो ये सारे हैक्स एंड सिंपली लर्न टू गेट अहेड।
जैसे कि दानिश, a civil engineer turned data scientist who decided to simply learn.
और कैसे हुआ ये पॉसिबल?
With a course from a premier university, मेरे करियर ने लिया एक नया डायरेक्शन।
True champion who upskilled to win big. How big?
A massive hike that transformed my life.
Danish changed gears pretty early in the race. But Prasan wanted to explore more to get ahead. इसीलिए उसने करा Simply Learn. From mechanical engineering to a data analyst and a podcaster in his free time.
ऐसा करियर ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन कैसे ब्रो?
सिंपली लर्न के इंडस्ट्री एक्सपर्ट से सीखा लाइव और खुद बन गया डेटा एक्सपर्ट।
इतना कुछ इतनी जल्दी डिफिकल्ट तो रहा होगा।
With a well-structured course, it felt like a piece of cake.
That is simply awesome. What's also awesome is that 9 साल के long career के बाद Nitin didn't choose a quick fix. He just added data science
into the mix. Nitin, how did you change the game?
Worked on real industry problems to become the real deal.
A joint family, a regular job, responsibilities तो बहुत थी, but nothing could stop Nitin from getting ahead. What an all-rounder.
Day हो या night, with flexible learning, you can always make it right.
पैशन या सिचुएशन चाहे जो भी हो, नितिन, दानिश और प्रसन की तरह you too will find your way to get ahead when you simply learn. क्योंकि आपके लिए शॉर्टकट्स नहीं, simply learn है सही. Get ahead with Simply Learn.
Recording in progress. Hello, everyone. Once again, welcome. Fantastic to have you all on board. So I am Rasha Khan, and I'm joining from all the way from Bangalore, India. Would love to know where you're joining from. Meanwhile, I saw that introductions already started coming in, so that's great. Would love to know where you're joining us from. So let the global conversation begin. Before we start, we'll be starting in a few minutes. Meanwhile, let me just take you through the ground rules here. So we have a few quick, easy ground rules here. So in case you have any questions for our speaker who's already joined us, Raghavendra, you can put down your questions in the Q&A box. And the session is being recorded. So in case you want to go through the session recording once again, in case you missed something out, you can expect a follow-up email with the recording link, the webinar certificate, and also the bonus offer for attending the session for the program part, which we'll be talking about in the upcoming slides. And also to request a proof of attendance for this webinar, you can enter your name in the post-webinar survey. So that is something, if you have any questions about the post-webinar survey, I'll be taking it towards the end. And also for the webinar certificate, you need to stay till the end of the session in order to get the webinar certificate. So I hope that makes it all clear. About the agenda of the session. So we'll be starting to getting to know a little bit more about you, how we can help you out better in your career in full stack development, and much more about you, and taking up questions from you, helping you out, and addressing all of your queries as much as possible. And we'll be talking about full stack web development careers. And after that, we'll be talking about the Caltech Full Stack Web Development Program, what this program exactly offers, and how this program gets you job ready, and also taking you through the enrollment steps. And there will be special duration for the Q&A part. So in case you have questions, obviously you're here because you are interested in full stack development and want to know a little bit more about the career in full stack web development. So in case you have any questions related to that or program in general, you can let us know in the Q&A box. So just to help you navigate, the Q&A box is just beside the chat box. Right now we are having an amazing conversation. I can see folks basically have introduced themselves here. I can see folks have joined from Philippines, India, and basically I can see someone has joined from UAE as well. I can see more introductions coming in on chat here. So awesome. Okay. I'll go slow. So fine. So before we start the session, as I mentioned, that let's get to know each other a little better. So there's a quick poll on your screen here. So we would love to know how many years of experience do you currently have. So let's get to know, right, what all folks have joined here, and basically what experience set they come from. So you can see 4 quick options here. The first one being less than 2 years. Second one, 2 to 5 years, third one, 6 to 10 years, and the last one, more than 10 years. So please choose the most suitable option for you here. And in case it does not cover the number of years of experience you have, you can let us know in chat here as well. So it's okay. I'll just give like 10 seconds more for the poll here before we start. And we already have our speaker here with us, Raghavendra, and we'll be basically starting the session just once we are done with this poll. So I see a lot of active set of folks here, and while I was speaking, I can see the polls moving in, so that's great. But only for few people who have still not shared the responses over the poll here, I'll just give like 5 seconds more before we move on to the introduction part of our speaker here. Raghavendra is already here with us. Before we start. So meanwhile, Raghavendra, where are you joining us?
Even I'm joining from Bangalore. Even I'm based out of Bangalore.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. 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 Okay, I think we've gotten, everyone has already shared responses for this poll here. So I'll just quickly end this poll in 5 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me quickly end the poll and share the results with you folks as well. So Raghavendra, let's see, like we can see that 76% of the folks who have joined us have less than 2 years of experience, and 18% folks have 2 to 5 years of experience, and few of them have 6 to 10 years of experience. So we've gotten a complete set of audience here who basically come from different set of experiences. So again, like thank you so much folks for sharing that with us. And again, like I think questions have started coming in on the Q&A box, so that's great. I see that folks have come prepared with their questions here. We'll try to take as many questions as possible, maybe throughout the session. But don't worry about it. We'll try to address all of your queries towards the end. So, please have some patience with us. And yes, as I said that first again, like would like to welcome Raghavendra here to the session. First of all, thank you for taking the time out for this career masterclass, and welcome again. Like, would you like to give us your introduction, Raghavendra, to the crowd?
Yeah. So myself Raghavendra, like all of you guys know. So I work in one of the Fortune 100 companies. So I can't really reveal the name. So I lead a team of 12 members, and I also do a lot of sessions like this across various platforms. Like not just this, you can say upgraded learning, Newton School, Edureka, all these places. Actually, I teach these sessions, and also whenever I'm free, I take sessions on weekends, on the weekdays like this, 1 hour webinars. I take this. I come with total 10 years experience. In that, majorly, I have experience on full stack development only, wherein I worked on main stack, merge stack, Java with full stack, Spring Boot technologies. All these things I've worked in the past 10 years. And also, I have made sure many students succeed in their careers with the kind of teaching what Simplilearn also provided. That's one of the very good platform where I also train, and I take regular classes. I'm also one of the instructors in them as well. Yeah, that's the very brief introduction about me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Raghavendra, for the introduction. Again, like welcome once again. I think we'll start with about careers in full stack development. Starting with full stack development, how it has become like one of the most hot jobs right now, and how does it basically the web gets built by full stack development? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Okay, so basically, full stack development is not like, first of all, before I speak about this, I want to tell you guys this word full stack development only coined very recently. It was not there when I started my career. Back maybe 10 years ago, it was just the front end and the back end. So there was nothing called full stack. So I joined as a back end developer. Knowing JavaScript was just an advantage in the company wherever you work for. As time progressed, I think maybe in 2013-14, I guess, where it picked up a lot of pace in it, and by the time 2017 come, it was full-fledged on. Every company was hiring for these full stack guys. The reason behind hiring this is just to reduce the workforce and get work from one person developer with multiple roles as it. Like, let's say if I'm running a startup, I don't want to hire multiple developers. One developer who knows both the things will be sufficient for me. So that's how this full stack development came into the picture, and that is the evolution of full stack development, I feel. And this is purely based on my knowledge and my experience. Now, what is full stack development is, it's just the front end, back end, as well as databases. We have when I say front end, we speak about, again, there is slide one more coming up, technology, what involves here. So here, whatever we see, look and feel, like what the buttons, the pages, the tabs, the menus, all these things, whatever you see, those are consist of your UI. And nowadays we have frameworks for everything to build upon. We have frameworks for JavaScript, we have frameworks for CSS, we have frameworks for backend also. Okay, that consists of the front end. Now we go to backend, where whenever I send a click, let's say I click on something to load upon the table, the data comes in and sits there, right? How it sits, it's just on the click on that, we send a REST, and there will be a REST endpoint exposed from backend, or maybe a Java endpoint, maybe a Spring like a controller endpoint, or maybe a Node endpoint or Express endpoint, whatever. So that will be listening for your front end. Whenever you make such request, it just sends back the response, and that's what the backend is. It just mainly helps you to answer all the queries, whatever your UI asks for, and it sends in a specific format called as JSON, where they both communicate. It doesn't matter what backend is written on. It just expects the right response. That's the beauty of your separation of concerns. I have a front end written in some language A. I have a backend written in some language B. I don't need to know what language the A is written on. I just need to just say I want this the request back, back to the UI. I just do that request. I get the response back, and that is the beauty of, again, full stack development. And the backend technologies can be Java, Node, Python, R, Go, etc. There are many. Okay, it's endless, but these are the very famous technologies currently in the market. And now coming to the database. Now database, we have NoSQL and SQL database. When I speak SQL, we have RDBMS, we have Oracle, SQL, and these are the very famous databases. We have many, and NoSQL currently in the market and trending. You would say MongoDB, you have Cassandra, etc., etc. So these two databases cater for this backend, which uses for persistent layer. So this 3-layer consists of full stack development, and that's what makes it special. This is not one directional, it is multi-directional. Yeah, that's about FSD.
That sounds pretty interesting to me. A career in full stack development. I think we'll talk more about the careers right in the next slide. So as we can see that there are so many career paths you can take up, in full stack
Yes.
development. But when basically if someone thinks about full stack development, they only think of becoming a full stack developer, right? That is what comes to mind. But there are so many other career paths you can take up, as we can see on our screen here. And
Yes.
can you tell us a little bit about these career paths? And maybe we'll take questions related to the career paths, later on. We're getting those questions in the Q&A box. But yeah, to start with.
Yeah. See, basically, one advantage of learning full stack is, let's say I took a course in Simplilearn and I learned the full stack development. Okay. After that, you are equipped with multiple knowledge. Okay. You know the front end technology, for example, Angular. You know the back end technology, for example, Java, Spring. Now you also know one database, maybe Oracle or SQL. So now you can explore your career in multiple phases. You can be a full stack developer like what you already made the course that consists of this entire end-to-end technology. And let's say for some reason you are not comfortable in the front end, then you can become purely a back-end developer. Okay. And that also has a good, very, very good like demand in the market. And let's say now my interest is in just the UI. I am very comfortable building UI. I don't want to touch backend. You can also explore equally paying jobs in market with just becoming front-end web developer. Also, now there is one more specialization. Not just this, you have one more role called as UI UX developer. This developers, what they do is they don't focus on a lot of UI writing. They only focus on look and feel of the entire UI. For that is also very, very popular in the market. Now you might have saw, if you scroll LinkedIn, you see, is this UI better? Is this UI better? You get those 3 buttons better or 3 menu are better. Which one is better? That question comes in. You know why they ask that question? They want to understand what a end user thinks of it. That's what the responsibility of UI developer, UI and UX developer. They do a lot of research on just about look and feel. That is one more area where you can explore your expertise. And you can also become like architects. That only for the like experienced folks. Initially, maybe till 6 years 7 years it will not be relevant for you, but again, if you are experienced person, this would be very much relevant for you. You can become architect. And let's say none of these are interested, now you're very comfortable in the database, you can also become DBA developer also, where you can write SQL queries and you can write store procedures, all these things. Okay, these are multiple roles. Every single point I told you, front end, back end, and database, individually you can explore and become engineer like in that particular stream. And also, if you take one elective year, we have cloud, you can also become cloud engineer. Look at the beauty of learning this one course, and you have so many options to explore. That's the beauty of this course here. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's very interesting that not just one career path, you can take so many career paths here. And
Yes.
again, like, thank you so much for taking us through that. Now, as we were talking about skills as well, right? Those skills which actually open up these career paths, right? Where you can see so many skills here, basically, which a full stack web developer can basically learn, basically, and what basically comes with the job requirement as well, when you apply for those jobs. Maybe can you tell us a little bit about the skills as well,
Okay, like I mentioned, I've segregated it into 3 portions. Now let's take one by one, and I will pinpoint you what that technology, what that side it consists of. Now, if you say front end, if you want to excel in the front end, you need to first excel yourself in static markup language, and that is your HTML. You build the HTML, your like backbone is ready. Now you need to make it look good. How? With the help of CSS. You have CSS3 standard in the market, and not just very plain CSS. You have your framework. As of now in the market, there are lots of framework. Very famous one is Bootstrap. And if you go for Angular, you have one framework for that. If you go for React, you have one framework for that. Every UI, like or the technology, whatever they've exposed, they are exposing one extra framework from their side to make their technology to look good. For Angular, they are again have their own in-house framework for your CSS, because that is more compatible for the UI what they provide, even for React also. Okay, that is, these are the UI technologies which are famous. Now if you go to Angular is not just a library, it's a complete framework. Why I say that? Because it provides so many additional features bundled by default. The moment you install, you are good to go. For example, routers we have. Maybe it's too early to speak about all those things, but the framework is, as of today, it's so much capable. The moment you install, you can do a lot of things which other, like if you go to React, you need to maybe install all those things one by one. That's the reason Simplilearn chooses Angular over React to build this UI for this in this full stack development course. And that's on the front end. Now I come to the middle layer. In this we have Java. When I say Java, like we definitely will learn about the core Java. In the core Java, we learn about all the basics of core Java. Then we move on to the advanced Java. That's where your framework comes into picture. There you learn about this. What is the very important part is servlets. Okay, we all know Spring Boot. Okay, it's one of the buzzword in the market where everyone uses. But what is used behind Spring Boot? None of us really bothered to know. And that's what Spring Boot internally uses, these servlets. You can ask, why are we using that? Like, why are we learning that? Many people doesn't even understand how things works in the behind the scenes. They just learn cream layer and go across. The intention of putting such concepts in this curriculum is to make sure you guys know from the depth what you are learning. First, we make sure you learn Java. Then we'll introduce you to servlets. Then we'll introduce you to advanced JSPs and servlets. And then we'll go on to Spring. And after that, we introduce Spring Boot. Look at the layering one by one to make sure you understand every step clearly. By the end of this course, you will be in the backend section. I'm telling, you'll be so much sure about what you're learning every step. And then the communication part, as I've spoken, right? SOAP and REST. These are the framework which will help you to expose your endpoints which your front end communicates with. Okay, and that's what the communication channel here. Now, if I move on to Hibernates, this is again database agnostic framework which helps us to communicate from the Java layer or the backend layer to the database side. Now I have tables ready. I need to pick them. Now let's say my database written in SQL, Cassandra, Mongo, doesn't matter. You need to tell Hibernate, hey, Hibernate, my database is XYZ, and provide some configuration. That's it. The heavy lifting is done by Hibernates. It makes sure it picks the data, converts it into a proper JSON format, and sends it back to the UI. And that whole communication is seamless. And that's what the technology Hibernate provides us. Also, JPA does one level ahead of that. Okay, and JavaScript is, again, I told you, the core for your React. ES6 is a standard which is used across the market. Now we have one more level, ES7. So what is ES means? ECMAScript 6. Earlier days we used to have ECMAScript 5, ECMAScript 4. People might not know because ES6 only people remember, because this is where lot of new features got introduced, and that's why ES6 is famous. And JavaScript ES6 is one of the famous the jargons going around. These are the technologies you will be learning in this course as you go across.
Well, that sounds a lot of skills, you'll be covering in this program. But Raghavendra, just one question. I'm pretty sure the crowd wants to know this. There's always this dilemma, right? Where do you get started? Like someone who wants to get started, what would you recommend them to get started with?
Okay, so basically, you should I'm also instructor here. What you do is we'll go in such a way that first we'll make sure you know about DSA. Okay, for any interview, for it may be a fresher or 10-year experienced guy, interviews clearing is one of the very important aspect. That's why we all join here. That's practical. Now for that, we also keep in mind that aspect also, and we will make sure we train you in DSA, data structures and algorithm. In that you become well versed. That should be the first point. Any developer who wants to become developer in their career, that is the first step. Get some good hands-on on problem solving. Get your hands dirty there. spend some good amount of time there. That's what we tell you to do, and we also provide you training on that. Then we'll move on to the core Java basics. Okay. So I have the entire curriculum stepwise. I'll discuss that, but before that, I'll just give you a glimpse. So then we'll go on to the Java. Then after that, we'll learn about one more level ahead. We'll learn the frameworks of Java. Okay. Then we'll move on to the backend. Sorry, the front end. First, we finish the backend because we learned DSA just now. Java, we finished about the frameworks also. Then we'll move on to the HTML, CSS, then Bootstrap. Then we'll go to Angular, and then we'll write the communication between your front end and back end now. This is just level 1. Next, we'll move on to level 2, that is your Spring Boot level. That means advanced Java concepts, where we tell you whatever heavy lifting you have done in your code by yourself now will be done by framework. Your servlets, JSPs are written to make sure you write all the code by yourself. But now that heavy lifting is done by framework, and we show you this is what the heavy lifting is done by framework, and that is very useful for you guys. Okay. Now you go learn about your advanced Spring concepts. Then you will go on learn about your DevOps and database concepts. Okay. Now I will let me know when I can share my screen and I can show all these things to them, Arasha.
Sure. Let me just also check the access. Yeah, you're free to share, Raghavendra.
Okay, cool. Is my screen visible to all of you guys?
Yeah, it's visible to me. Folks, please do let us know in chat here by just replying yes or no. Awesome. Visible. I think we're getting responses in the chat.
Okay, cool. So I have created this text pad just for the quick, instead of going to the website and all, it is easy for me and for you guys also to understand. As you can see here, these are the multiple phases we go through. In the first phase, we have this LVC. We will introduce you to Agile. What is Agile? I missed out in the technology thing. Agile is a standard methodology where we do development in phases. Okay, earlier days, what used to happen? We used to do development for 6 continuous months, and then we go for stakeholders. By this, what actually happens is, let us say some mistakes I did in the initial month only, like let's say first month, second month. I did not know. I continued to build on top of the mistake, and the entire development is completed. 6th month, I went to stakeholders. I demoed them. They're like, what is this? What you have built? You made a very basic mistake in the initial level only. Then they will change the things and will come back and repeat everything for next 4 months. That is waterfall model, we call it as. And that way of development was followed 10 years ago. When I joined IT industry, it was just about to get wrapped up. And then comes Agile. What this is, here what we do, we have sprints. There are a lot of terminologies here, guys. I work in a very strict Agile in my company also. But there are a lot of terminologies. I will not go into that detail. I will tell you very basics of it. What this will do is, every 3 weeks, 2 weeks or 4 weeks, we divide into sprints. Now what we do the work for 3 weeks. We demo it to the stakeholders. Hey, this is what we developed. Are we aligned to the end goal? What do you think of it? Do you recommend some changes? If they say yes, we incorporate. If they say no, very good, we continue. Again, next 3 weeks, we implement some more things on top of it. We'll come back to the stakeholders. Hey, what do you think now? Are we in the right path? They say yes. We will. If they say yes, we will take it. If there will be some feedback, we'll take it and we'll consider it. We will change then and there only. We will not wait till the end point. Like this, every phased manner development happens. At the end, even stakeholder is happy and stakeholder is confident now. What's happening in the team is aligned to my expectations. So this is one of the advantage of Agile, and that is your first topic in this entire course. And then Git. What is Git? Git is a source version control. We call SVC. What this is used for? Let us say we as a team working for one project. We are 10 members in the team. Now I am working on component 1. My team member is working component 2, etc., and the entire team is working on multiple components. Now, after every component wrapping up, I need to push it to some place, right? We call it as source code repository. We will push all the changes and also pull all the changes from them. That means it is, if I tell you simple words, collaboratively work within the team with sharing the code of each other. This is what we use Git for. In multiple companies, multiple softwares, they use it, but the ultimate goal is the same. Okay, to make sure you work as a team collaboratively, sharing your code and getting the other developers code together. That's it. And then in this particular thing, what we do is we do Java deep dive. We'll talk about building blocks of Java. Then we'll speak about interfaces, collections, and then these are the three introduction. You can ask me, you told DSA first. Why are we speaking about Java here? Let's say I am from a non-tech background. I don't know what is ABC of coding. How can I learn DSA? I'll not be able to write. That is the reason we will educate you first. What is Java basics? Then we will get your hands dirty on DSA. Here we'll make sure we'll teach you guys about arrays, lists, and we also learn about sorting, searching, and also we learn about some more DSA skills, which I can't mention everything here. That's why I just mentioned about 2-pointer here. And very important, now I learned all these things. I will be doing one project, phase end project at every end of the phase. Okay, to make sure is my understanding are aligned to the course. So you will also understand whatever you've done till now, you do a project and you're good with it. That is about the phase 1. Next we have phase 2. Here what we do, we learn about Java web pages and DB management. Here we use servlets, we use JDBC, also we use Hibernates. All this just about initial, I would say, not the complete framework, advanced framework, just initial framework we learn, where core frameworks, servlets, JSP, or core frameworks, which is built on top of Java. Okay, level 1. Here also we do one phase end project. Next we go on to the next level, that is Spring MVC and advanced Java programming. I told you this point only. We will use Spring framework plus Spring Boot framework plus microservices. Okay, you might have heard, like nowadays, if you open Flipkart or Amazon, those things work. You have a cart page, that is one microservice. Products page, one microservice. You have like mobiles page, one microservice. Every small module is a microservice. They communicate within each other with the help of such small Spring Boot applications. That's the beauty of this microservices. So they help us to communicate between the different services, and we'll be learning about that here. Like I told you, we will be doing a project also here at the end of this particular phase. This is about Spring MVC, sorry, the advanced Java programming phase. Now we learn about creating rich front end. What is this? Here I don't just follow this. I will make sure you learn about HTML, CSS. Then I will come to this particular portion called as Bootstrap. We will learn this completely, thoroughly, and then I will make sure you learn about JavaScript. Extremely important. Without this, your journey of Angular will be incomplete, or you will not be able to code also. Just like your Spring Boot requires Java knowledge, your Angular requires JavaScript knowledge mandatorily. So that's the reason I cover all these things beginning and get yourself comfortable. Then we'll move on to the Angular. We will build the entire UI, and finally we do one end-to-end one project. In this case, what we do is we will try to communicate to the other side. That means whatever the backend we built, we exposed endpoints. Now we will consume them and display here. Maybe a list of movies, or I would say the list of students. I'm telling an example. I can't tell you the exact thing. Maybe a list of products I want to display, or maybe menu in my like Zomato app, whatever, like that. So such things we'll build here, and we will do the communication part. And finally, we have this. This is actually, I would say, elective field, wherein you can also learn about more on DevOps. In this phase, you learn about Selenium thing. I think this is not the DevOps. Yeah, this is the one. Yes. Here you learn about testing your application. What is EC2, what is S3, what is mainly you learn about cloud, Docker, Kubernetes, what are pods, what are containers, how that is used, how do we bring the container up, how the communication happens, how can we segregate individual like piece in development, and then we do one phase end project with the help of this particular thing. And this will be an elective. If you want to choose, you can choose it. So overall, all these things you'll be learning in this course. Okay. Now I want to speak about one course in detail. Let's say one phase. I will pick this phase 3, let's say. Now, if you see in this, if we want to give you a glimpse of what we do in these phases, first we will learn about what is Spring MVC. We'll build an entire framework. We will build the entire framework with from the core. We understand how to communicate to database. We also make sure how to expose an endpoint and also some event handling. We'll do all these things in the lesson 1. And next we'll move on to lesson 2. Here we expose RESTful endpoints. We learn about exception handling of Spring Boot, what difference between Spring Boot and Spring we have. Also file handling, how can we do that? What is Swagger? Very important. What is Apache Kafka? How this queue works? What are queues? What are MQs, messaging queues? How to make sure your application is secure by learning HTTPS. All these things we learn about is lesson 2, and then finally we'll come on to JUnit testing. This is extremely important. Why? Because I return the entire framework code. Now, in this entire framework code, how can I make sure my endpoints are functional? I need to make sure as a developer, right? And this is the way to confirm. I write those JUnit cases to make sure my endpoints are returning successful results. How can I validate? I pass some dummy input. I expect the output the way I pass input as. Let us say from the UI, I anticipate this A input. I want B output. I always make sure write the unit test cases which actually checks both the things. That is what this lesson 3 all about. We'll write the entire JUnit cases. There are multiple things in JUnit cases. I will show all of them in detail, and then finally we'll move on to these web services. Here, this is completely on Spring Boot. Also, microservices, what I mentioned here. If you see here, this is microservices. In this case, I will talk about creating multiple such small Spring Boot applications and way to communicate between them. So all these things we'll be discussing in detail in this particular phase 3. Okay, so this is what I've given you a bird view, in a way detailed bird view, what we're going to do in this entire phase. So because I'm an instructor here, I know each and every line here. That's why I'm telling you with so much confidence. You will learn all these things in this entire course. Yeah, I'm done from my side, Rasha. You can take it forward.
Yeah, sure. Let me just quickly share back my screen, folks. And also, Raghavendra, that was so interesting. Thank you for taking us to the environment. Basically, what exactly do we cover? A little bit sneak peek into it. And also, I think we have talked about the skills here. We have talked about what career paths, folks can taking up this program in full stack web development. So we want to understand what exactly is the biggest challenge here when it comes to becoming a full stack developer. You're here because you're interested in this field, right? So we actually would want to know what is the biggest challenge here? What's stopping you from becoming a full stack developer? So the poll which you see on your screen here right now, this is a multiple choice question. So you can actually select multiple options here because there can be multiple concerns, right? So I'll just read out those options for you. While I was speaking, folks have already started sharing the responses. So that's great. We've gotten a really active audience here. So I'll just read out those options for you. So what exactly is stopping you from becoming a full stack developer? So the first one, I can't find a program with a fully comprehensive curriculum. The second one, I don't have the practical exposure I need to become job ready. The third one, I find it difficult to learn from pre-recorded videos. And the last one, my work schedule won't allow me enough time for learning. So as I was speaking, I can see folks have already started their concern, basically, in terms of aspiring a career in full stack development. So I think I'll just give 10 seconds more because I can see most of the folks have already shared their responses. That's great. So for other folks who are still thinking about it, in case this poll does not cover your concern, you can let us know on the chat or in Q&A box as well. And meanwhile, Raghavendra, while you were speaking, taking us through, the sneak peek into the program here, basically what do we cover? We actually are getting very interesting questions in the Q&A box as well, which will be taking in some time, folks. So thank you so much for interesting questions here. I can see I'm scrolling through the questions here. Yeah, I think I'll just give 5 seconds more for the poll here. Basically, what is the biggest challenge here when it comes to becoming a full stack developer? So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me quickly end the poll and also share the results with you folks. Okay, as we can see, Raghavendra here, we have gotten the highest amount of votes, 52% for I wouldn't get the practical exposure, I need to become job ready. And 42% of the folks have voted for I can't find a program with a fully comprehensive curriculum. And I can see few of the votes are for I find it difficult to learn from pre-recorded videos and my work schedule won't allow me enough time for learning. So again, like thank you so much for sharing your biggest concern here. Now moving to the program review here. So the Caltech's postgraduate program in full stack web development comes with a comprehensive curriculum and industry aligned learning path. You get to work on integrated case studies and hands-on projects or practical experience, which we'll be talking a little bit about in the upcoming slides. But Raghavendra has mentioned, like the projects, basically, step by step, we'll be getting to work on, these projects, and we'll be talking more about those projects in the upcoming slides. And online virtual classroom with peer and instructor interaction and flexible to fit your lifestyle and schedule. In case you are a working professional and you have other responsibilities, this program is like, manageable to basically complete in 10 to 15 hours per week of bandwidth. And the program duration for someone, I think someone asked that in the Q&A box, is 9 months. So you can just complete this by giving 10 to 15 hours per week. I do have a question for you, Raghavendra. That how does the live virtual classroom look like in this program? When folks take up this program by Caltech, they have expectations, right? So what does the peer and instructor interaction looks like? Is it like boring or like, is it like some interesting, crowd to be a part of? Like, can you tell us a little bit about that?
When see, first of all, multiple different institutes do a different way. Okay, what I like about this projects is they will ask us to do in the class. Okay, and I will be more interactive and I will be going along with the students. So that's the beauty of it, So from the beginning till the end, I will make sure you are with me. I will go on certain pace which is suitable for most of the students. Okay, so that they always follow me till the end, and I'll make sure it's completed. And I will keep a tab on whatever doubts they have. Let's say in the class it's not clear. Okay. I also missed out one more point when I was teaching you this. So let's say after session generally will be on Saturday, Sundays, like 4 hours in the evening. Or I'm not sure about the time zone in the US, but 4 hours on Saturday, Sunday. Let's say after that session is over, should we wait for next week to come to talk to me? Answer is absolutely no. What we do is at the end of every session, we'll be providing you a GitHub link wherein all my code will be pushed. Second thing, we'll be providing you the Google Drive link wherein if I have a big image or big files, I'll be putting that documentation, anything. And also third one, very important one, we'll be providing you community link wherein you need to post your question and not just me, any one of us or any instructors, any your PIs will get in touch with you and make sure you are unblocked as soon as possible. You don't need to wait till the next week to come talk to me again. So that is a very beneficial advantage when you take the course here. So you're always we'll be keep a tab on you. How are you progressing in your course?
Wow, that sounds like a pretty interesting environment to be a part of, when you're learning and you're taking up this postgraduate program and post-grad learning. I think we have few questions about the program, the fee, and this, schedule. I'll be sharing that. Meanwhile, what exactly you'll be getting from this program? So you'll be getting a Caltech CTME full stack web development certificate here. You can see on your screen here. And you'll be getting hands-on projects and integrated labs to work on, which we have mentioned earlier. We'll be talking more about it. You will be receiving up to 25 CUs from Caltech CTME, that is equivalent to 250 hours of learning. So that's pretty great. And I think Raghavendra already mentioned that Caltech CTME Circle membership. So you get to be a part of these learners who come from different diverse sort of industries, which we'll be talking about more in the upcoming slides. And career as a services and online convocation as well. So the online convocation, I find the most interesting part of this program here, that in an offline setting, you get to invite maybe your family, closest family, or like very close friends. Here, you can basically invite your family, closest friends, far relatives, friends who are basically in different parts of the world or states, and they get to basically see you getting this convocation online. So that is again like one of the most interesting parts here from Caltech CTME. About the eligibility and prerequisites here. So all you need to have is a bachelor's degree with an average of 50% or higher marks. And basically you need to have a basic programming knowledge and also Basically, you need to have at least 2+ years of work experience is preferred. It is not compulsory, but preferred. Also, like I just have a question. I'm pretty sure the crowd also wants to know basic programming knowledge. So, have you seen students succeed if basically they have some sort of basic programming knowledge, and when they take up this program to become a full stack web developer? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I didn't completely get you. Can you
Sure,
come again,
sure.
please, Sasha? Yeah.
Sure. I was saying that as we can see that for the eligibility for this program is like, you need
Yes.
to have a basic programming knowledge. So
Yes.
wanted to know that have you seen students succeed who basically have
Yes.
like very basic programming knowledge, because this is a full
Yes,
stack
yes.
web development program, right?
Yes,
Can you
yes, absolutely. So, guys, this course is not 1 month, 2 month course. Okay, the course spans at least like 4 to 6 months. Okay, a person who doesn't even know ABC of coding can still be a good developer. In my batch only, I've seen people who getting placed in very good companies. Okay, not one or two, many. Okay, why I'm telling you this, because they don't even know anything. That's the reason I start from the very beginning of the coding. I make sure you guys know Java first, because to know the DSA, Java is important. We feel everyone same. We by default assume you guys know nothing, because it would be great for us to teach in a better way like that. If I assume that you guys know something and coming here will not help me. Okay, I generally do this. I assume that you guys know nothing. I have to educate you everything. Like that, I take up, and I always make sure that everyone in the same page, and I will make sure that you learn about Java basics. Then you go for next Java, next DSA. After that, your like advanced framework comes in. That's how I go forward. So answer is yes, you can excel, but only one thing is important: your dedication and perseverance about whatever I tell you to do. At the end of the day, you guys must and should do that. Okay, this is very important, guys. This is the ground rules for this entire course.
I totally agree. Dedication is equally important. As you basically, take up these skills to learn and projects to work on and acquire these skills in this program. Thank you so much for answering that. Now, moving on, how this program basically prepares you and gets you job ready. So, as we can see on the screen here, how the program builds your development skills step by step. Raghavendra, can you take us through these steps for the crowd to understand, what basically will be happening in this program step by step?
I think exact same thing I explained when I shared
Yeah,
my screen, right?
exactly.
It's all the step by step. You have this introduction, then you learn the planning and device design, then you learn about the backend and database development, and then you talk about API endpoints. Finally, integration and the development you do, that is DevOps, and you do one capstone project. I again missed out on this. This involves whatever you learned in all the phases, you put together and make one piece. By that, you learn end to end, and that's what this entire ladder you are seeing here, and that is very important and very useful.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Again, like you have taken through these steps like in much more detail before we even came to this slide. I think I'll just mention about the electives which we have missed, that you get access to Caltech CTME full stack development masterclasses, and you also get generative AI masterclasses as well as a part of the elective. So you don't have to pay anything extra for that. This comes as a part of the program. So it's optional. It is up to you if you want to take it up. So moving on to the master in-demand tools, libraries, and platforms you get to cover in this program. So as we can see on the screen, there are so many tools and libraries and platforms here, but obviously there are much more than this what we cover. Raghavendra, can you take us through these tools, libraries, and platforms and give folks a little bit a better idea of what we are seeing on the screen here?
Yes. So I told you in very plain and text languages. Now you're seeing images here.
Yeah, exactly.
We spoke about Angular. Definitely we learn about Angular. Git I spoke. You have a Git here. Jenkins is a way to do DevOps. It is continuous development, continuous integration. CI/CD we call it as. Okay. Then you have MongoDB. It's a database. You have Maven. It is mainly to like help your Jenkins, all those building the projects and everything. We have CSS, RabbitMQ for communication. JUnit is for unit test cases. MySQL is database again. TypeScript is your advanced transparent JavaScript language. We will be learning all these things in the entire part of the course. So these are your tools which you will learn after the end of by the end of this particular course.
Oh, that sounds pretty interesting. A lot of tools, libraries to cover in this particular course. Thank you so much for taking us through that. Now, moving on. We mentioned about the capstone project, right? So the capstone projects which you can showcase to your future employers here, they give you that true experience you can showcase in your portfolio. For someone who's coming from a non-coding or a non-web stack background, I just have one question for this particular capstone project here. So how does a capstone project, having that on your portfolio resume when you're trying to get out there, when you're done with the program here, right? You're trying to get out there and land your dream job in full stack development. How does it help? How does it help for
See,
someone who has no experience in this?
yes. Now, let's say I'm coming with absolutely no experience, right? So if you've done the project, if you go for an interview, they'll ask you, can you show us project whatever you have done? You can just share your GitHub and tell, this is my project. And if they ask you, you should be able to explain everything. And that is what the very good part about this. By doing capstone project, they will easily able to judge how much of you know by in this entire course, whatever you learn. It will just shows your confidence, and it will show your like whatever skill set you have. And that's where capstone projects plays a very vital role in your interviews.
Thank you so much for answering that. That makes sense. Like for someone coming from a completely coding or non-web stack background. Now moving on. So the past learners and their success stories. I think I've asked you about it a little bit about how does it look like? Do they succeed if they come from a very basic programming background and they have very basic knowledge? So about the learners here. So the classes include learners from excellent organizations and diverse industries. Industries like software product, information technology, BFSI, telecommunication, others. And also the companies Amazon, Microsoft, EY, Dell, Deloitte, IBM, Oracle, Bosch, and many more. I think we are not able to cover in the slide. That's why you can see only these many companies here. So learners you will be basically joining this program with will be very interesting, coming from different backgrounds and diverse industries. So that is something very interesting. Now talking about the learners here, so we have few learner success stories here. As we can see that Vidya basically has shared that her learning experience was great, and she's thankful to the team for providing upskilling opportunities and got placed in a reputable organization. And also about Raj group here, as we can see, basically has shared that love the format and the logistics so much that I would love to enroll in more courses by Simplilearn. So that's pretty great. Swapnil here, basically assistance engineer in Delhi, so has basically shared that he switched his job to TCS as a Java developer and now is working as systems engineer and also has gotten a 20% salary hike as well. I don't think so that's bad. I think that's pretty good. And Pooja Chaudhary here basically says that this basically program is pretty highly beneficial and has helped her upskill. And since she was a fresher here, she's glad that she got her first job offer letter after completing this course. So these are the learner success and many thousands of it which obviously we cannot put here, but I'll be sharing the link of the program here for you to check out later. So here we talked about basically the skills, the projects, the career paths you can take up. We have shared the learner success stories here. We have taken you through the program flow here as well. I think maybe Raghavendra, we can take like few questions here. As we have promised them, we will take few questions, before we move on into the program.
Yes. So
sure. I think let's browse through the questions here. Yeah.
Sure. So one person asked me the question: besides front end and other framework software, are the only for this question? I have explained you all three divisions. They asked very initial time only. I think that is answered. You will be learning about your front end, your back end, database. These three layers. I also explained in detail about what technologies you are learning in this and everything. I'll take it as answered. And next person is asking me the question saying that how will FSD? I've explained this also. Okay, whether full stack development are future, guys? Definitely yes. FSD have future. Okay, I'll not tell you very ballistic. At least next 15-20 years, you have bright future. But tech stack may change, but full stack idea will remain. Okay, that's it. So that's about one question. Which one is the best among backend and front end developer? Guys, I'm a full stack guy. I love both front end and back end equally. If you learn more about problem solving and like complicated things, then you may like backend. If you learn more about like designing, structuring, you may like UI. So again, I leave it to your choice to choose one. So I like both. as web developer, you advise me to continue PHP using frameworks. Guys, PHP, Laravel, all these are old frameworks. Okay. So maybe you can learn Python also is good. Again, for that also we have courses. But in this FSD, we mainly focus on Java, and that's what like mainly we use also. So to this question, I would not recommend you to continue on outdated technologies. Please upgrade yourself and learn right like technologies, whatever we are recommending you, which is definitely future proof. And then, does this program have any connection with blockchain development? Answer is no. This is no way linked to blockchain at all. Okay, but good question.
Yeah.
Upgrade as self-paced course would be helpful. Okay, guys, self-paced course, I am not very sure. So about that particular thing, I'll only stick on to the Simplilearn course. Whatever they have very nice course. Here there is nothing self-paced. Everything is instructor driven. That's the beauty of it. You know it. You won't get much recordings. Everything is instructor driven here.
Exactly. And also like a lifetime access of the basically the classes as well, right? So that's
Yes.
again another plus here. So I think thank you so much, Raghavendra, for taking few questions, as we promised them. So moving on. So we have talked about the skills here. We have talked about the career paths you can take up in full stack web development. And we have talked about the projects you can work on. So you can see a quick poll question on the screen here. Would you like to enroll into the CalStech postgraduate program in full stack development? Also, just to remind you, there's a bonus offer for attending this webinar. We don't do this. We do this very rarely here. So for this program, for attending this webinar, we're giving a bonus offer as well. So that you can avail in basically more than 6 months from now. And I'll be asking you that question as well. When do you plan to enroll, so we can understand when basically you want to start it. Just an assumption, but as I was speaking, I can see a lot of interest like coming towards the enrollment. So that's great. Keep that coming in. Meanwhile, we will just give it like 15 seconds for folks who are still thinking about it. And also about the cohort here, we take only like some 25 to 30 folks per cohort in order to make sure that they are getting all the attention that is required here when they're taking up this Caltech CTME postgraduate program in full stack web development. And also the capstone project, which you get to work on through this program, that basically helps you get job ready, get out there and get the job of your dreams in full stack web development, which is a very hot career choice right now. So I think as I was speaking, I can see the enrollment part of the program like moving up in the poll, but that's great. I can see folks have a lot of questions here. So I think, yeah, there are a lot of questions coming in about the fee and where exactly the next cohort is starting. So I'll be sharing that in upcoming slides and also taking you through the enrollment steps. So don't worry about that. So I'll just give like some 10 seconds more for the poll here. And also while we are speaking, we're getting few more interesting questions on the Q&A box. So we'll take that in the Q&A part of the session, which is upcoming next. In case we haven't addressed your query, if you have a question about the program as well, you can let us know. So yeah. I'll just give 10 seconds more for folks, few of the folks who have not shared the responses for the poll here. And meanwhile, we're just browsing through the Q&A box here, and I can see Raghavendra is answering questions as well. As we go, you can go and check out. Yeah, if you have basically shared a question related to the program or the career in full stack development in general by Caltech here. So you can basically check out. He's already answering those questions for you there, addressing them. So as promised, we will address as many queries as possible, actually all of them, and we actually are doing that. So I think I can see most of the folks have already shared their interest here in the poll here. So I think I'll just give 10 seconds more and we will quickly end this poll and move on to the enrollment steps and the Q&A part. So, yeah, I think few of the folks who are still basically thinking about it, I would suggest take up the bonus offer here. There is so much time to take up the program in case you are not planning to join it immediately, but the bonus offer is pretty rare. So awesome. Okay, I can see most of the folks have already shared the responses here. So I'll just give 5 seconds more. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'll quickly end the poll. And thank you so much. I saw a lot of interest towards enrollment, so that's great. So let me take you through the enrollment steps here. So the enrollment steps are very easy, 3 simple steps here. All you need to do is submit your application to us at askus@simplilearn.net. Also, if you have any questions as well, you can basically just drop us a mail there I've shared that email ID on the chat here in case you want to check it out. Also, the step 2 here, your application will be going for review by Caltech CTME, and based on your qualifications, which I've shared the eligibility part earlier, we will be basically sharing you the admissions offer letter, and learning consultants from Simplilearn will be reaching out to you with the admissions offer letter. So that is about the enrollment steps here. Now, I got a lot of questions about the program fee and when exactly is the next cohort starting for. I think for folks who have already shared their interest towards enrollment. So the next welcome session for this program will be starting on 2nd of November this year. And the cohort classes will be starting on 9th of December. So there's plenty of time there, like to basically attend the induction and start the classes as well. So, and the program fee for this one is 9,999. And basically, 99,999, and this is basically including taxes. And we have financing options available as well. In case you're looking for EMI options as well, you want to pay it, separately, divide and pay it. So the amount for this is 8,542 rupees per month. And we also have like tuition reimbursement, basically, which you can ask your employer about this as well. And again, as I said, that we have very limited cohorts, per basically cohort which we take, and we only take like 25 to 30 folks per cohort in order to make sure that we are paying all the attention that is required when you're taking up this program. So and also I think folks might have questions that what is the program fee for my region, right? So I think I'll just share that this is for Indian region folks here, but I'll just share the link towards the program in case you want to check it out in much more detail here. So I'll just quickly share that link here in case you want to go through the program in much more detail. So moving on. So folks who have already shared their interest towards enrollment, which I saw a lot of you folks. So we want to know basically how soon do you plan to enroll? So here I'm just letting you know that in case you are still thinking about it, I would recommend to select within 3 months, within 6 months, within more than 6 months from now, because the bonus offer is something you can avail even more than 6 months from now. So why to resort on that, right? You can basically select those options. And folks, I think few of the folks have shared interest basically when is the next, upcoming cohort. They want to join that cohort. So the first option is the most suitable for you, the immediately one. So I'll just give 10 seconds more. As I was speaking, folks have already started sharing when do they plan to enroll. So that's great. We've gotten a really active audience here, active set of aspiring learners here. So that's great. And we have basically answered all of the questions here on the Q&A box here. So we have very few questions left for the Q&A part actually. Like Raghavendra is already answering those questions. So I'll just give 5 seconds more for the poll here. So basically, when do you plan to enroll? Okay, as I can see that most of the folks have already shared their responses. When do they plan to enroll? So I'll just quickly end the poll in 5 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me quickly end the poll. And again, thank you so much for sharing that with us. So we have taken most of the questions here from the Q&A box here, actually answered all of them. And we have answered a lot of them live and answered on the Q&A box. In case you have a question, which basically is not answered live, you can go and check it out on the answered box here. Raghavendra has already answered those. So now for folks who basically have already shared interest towards enrollment, have also let us know basically when do you plan to enroll. So this is a very quick poll just to understand if you need assistance in enrolling to the program. So I would suggest there are 2 options here, yes or no. I would suggest go for the yes part. Why not take the extra help, right? You're getting the extra help, please take it and understand more about the program, from a learning consultant. So we help you out, take you through the program. Okay, someone has asked if I can convert the payment. Yeah, as I've shared, there's an EMI option. And basically you can avail for that financing EMI option. So if you want to convert the payments into, fewer small payments. So that is possible completely. I'll just give 10 seconds more for the poll here. And I would like to thank Raghavendra, first of all, for making that effort and answering the questions, all of them actually. So while we were, going through the program steps and also taking up all the questions, we have gotten for the program here. So thank you so much for that. We are actually towards the end of the program here. So, Raghavendra, again, once again, thank you so much for taking the time out for taking us through this career masterclass on full stack web development and also taking us through the program as well of Caltech CTME. So would you like to say something to the crowd before we actually end the session?
Definitely, guys. See, one part I want to mention to all of you. See, when I used to start my career, there were nothing like this. There were no platform which is so nice and properly organized. I was clueless when I was learning. I used to struggle everything and learned on my own. Maybe made with JavaScript, made with Java, Spring, whatever. I did a lot of hard work and I didn't know what the right path also. Now we have such a wonderful platform. I would recommend you guys to use it to the fullest and get your careers like kick started as soon as possible. Don't wait. Just enroll and see where you land actually. Just give it a try. You will not regret later. I would have taken that when I had an opportunity. That regret should not be there. Right away, go and enroll and make sure you have a wonderful career in going forward. And with that, I wish you all the very best. I'll see you on the other side of the window. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Raghavendra. Thank you again. Thank you. It was great having you for the session. And I myself feel inspired, after attending your session, hosting you. So I'm pretty sure folks here, let us know on chat here, how was the session for you? So did it give you a little bit understanding about, career in full stack development? So we'll feel a little better for the upcoming sessions here. And also I've shared with you that we do these, helpful career master classes, almost every day throughout the month. And basically we would, you can go and check out the link I've shared with you, for the other master classes here in case you're interested in other cohorts, categories of careers here, want to explore that as well. So again, thank you so much. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us. Thank you for being an amazing crowd here. And we hope to see you in upcoming cohorts as per the number of enrollments I've seen in the poll here. So I think we'll be seeing a lot of you. And again, once again, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. We'll be ending the session now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, folks. See you in another session. Thank you again, once again, Raghavendra.